Welcome to the Outer Realm with Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Pisano. Airing live on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM in New Orleans.
Dang, I love that freaking intro. Big shout out to Dr. Snick. Yeah. Anyway, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Thursday night segment of the Outer Realm. We're broadcasting live here on United Public Radio Network 105.3 FM from the beautiful city of New Orleans. We are fully sponsored by the amazing people over at Folgers Coffee who have been with us from day one. Thank you, Folgers. Would not be the same without you, and nobody loves you better. Fully grateful for Dr. Snick and that amazing intro and outro. I know, right? So Dr. Snick, aka Justin Snicker, the Sonic Surgeon, award-winning composer of Halloween sci-fi and horror, dark wave music, you name it, this guy does it. He can be found anywhere. Bandcamp, Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, name it. If it's got good tunes, you're going to find him. So thank you. Now tonight, yes, you can find us on our, regular. We love the round table. Can you tell Bubbles loves the round table especially? You can find us on, of course, UFO Paranormal YouTube, UFO Gods and Extraterrestrials. We are on Facebook, so Canada's Most Haunted, The Outer Realm, of course, News on the Flip Side, UFO Paranormal, UFO United Public Radio, News on the Flip Side, Joe Montaldo, UFO Undercover. I think we've got it all. Hello. Hi, John. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Dolly. I just want to break out in song when I see Dolly's name. I say, hello, Dolly.
Hello,
you know the rest.
Dolly.
Hello.
Yeah, I know. I think of that.
Yep. So
love her. I hope you're feeling somewhat better, Dolly. I don't see anybody. Why am I having so much trouble?
I don't know why he's got an issue. Obviously, you've got the internet back. I'm thinking. I don't know. But I
have an issue I can't see anyone in the chat. I just see us. It's like
that's impossible. I'm looking at everybody right now.
I know. I don't see anyone. I'm very sorry. All I see is Dolly because she was up at the beginning. And if I reload my page, I'm going to lose everybody. Hi, Wayne.
Can you see Wayne?
Hello, big bro.
Tamara, hello.
Hi, Tamara.
Janie, hello.
Hi, Jeannie.
I know, right? Bradley, hello.
Hi, Bradley. I do feel like I'm looking through Romper Room's mirror. And
I know.
See Wayne and Jamie.
And then we've got, I'm just going to put everybody's names up. Hello, John.
Hi, John.
Hello, Audie. Who am I missing?
Hi, Adrian. Yeah.
Who am I missing?
Sorry,
Folgers.
the
That's
Italian
right.
in me.
John's got it right. Yeah.
The Italian in me goes right to the pronunciation.
Wayne.
Adriana.
Hello.
Hi, Sherry Berry. How are you feeling?
So we got everybody.
We got a few sickles in there. I hope you guys are feeling better. Hi, Michelle.
Here we are.
I can't see any of you. This
is Mako. Hello.
Hi, Michael. Hi, Cadillac Glider. It's driving me crazy because I can't see anybody in the chat.
Wayne, put your glasses on, Amelia.
No-brainer. I wish it was that simple, but the last thing I see is Canada's Most Haunted. Hello. That's the last thing I see. I wish it's that.
Just refresh, maybe.
Can I? Won't it?
You know what? Pop out, pop back in. Maybe you'll see it all.
I'm going to try refreshing.
Okay, we're just going to let Bubbles pop in and pop out. Go romper. Are you Miss Sally? Just wait for her to get back. All right, there we go. It's like magic. So holy crap, has it been a day and a week? And I got rants like there's nobody's business.
Let me tell you guys, I'm doing the right night because I am full and ready to explode. Hallelujah. All of the above.
Do you want to go first?
Yes. No.
Yes.
No.
No.
I thought you
Yes.
said,
No.
do
Maybe.
I go first? And I'm like,
Yes.
yes.
Do you? Would you
No,
like
I
to
would
go
never. No, you go ahead. I always
first on
follow
your
your
ramping?
lead. Yeah.
It's
I
okay.
always follow your lead.
Okay. Well, I don't even know where to start, but we started watching this show, and I don't want to say the name of the show because it's not a bad show. The show is actually a good show. It's a new paranormal show, and I think it's awesome. Family in Trouble.
Are we giving the name?
No, I don't do that. Hey, Mel. No, I don't want to do that because I don't want to give the show a bad rap. The show itself is pretty good, and anyway, there's a researcher on board, and there's a couple of people with this researcher. One of the gals I've seen on another popular show. I like her enough. For the medium, I'm not really familiar with, but she seems to be hitting some things. And then there's this researcher who's been at it for about apparently 20 years, and he's had some issues before. And at first I thought, God, he's pretty thorough. He's not been on the scene to my knowledge.
Why we don't watch paranormal television. Just
I don't either, but I kind of stumbled onto.
No, I said this is why we don't. I said we because we look at it.
People, it's homework. And you know what? Is it about a scary church property? Well, Patricia, it just might be.
Hi, Patricia.
But it's more than just the church. It's a lot of property. But here's the thing. I thought this researcher was being really thorough. He's got all this history. Mm-hmm. He's affiliating it with certain parts, like in a neighboring town, a few kilometers away. And then all of a sudden, he does this thing on the last segment. And I was dragging my jaw up.
You had to watch the whole show for the last segment to fall down?
It wasn't too bad. Say like Aaron Brad, I know that show.
Bradley, message me because I don't know what she's talking about.
Here's the thing, okay? This is what the guy did. Allegedly, the owner might have an attachment, and it looks like behavior-wise, it looks like she might have an attachment. She's got kids, older kids. Youngest, I think, is like a young teen. And he goes out, he grabs a mirror. I'm like, okay. Wow. Puts a few symbols on the back. What do you think I'm going to say next?
On the back of the mirror? Was he inviting something?
He did.
And no. And he was there to clear? Wait, he goes in, he puts symbols on the back of the mirror.
He was going to bring in an entity. He puts these symbols on the back. Bring in an entity to find out who the other entity was. And I'm thinking, okay, see right there, how you guys hear me rant about not doing stupid shit, and I'm saying that word right now because I'm so annoyed. Doing stupid crap in somebody else's space. You just don't do that. It's not your right to do that.
Isn't that so TV?
And that's normally that's stuff like challenging. I'm thinking, don't challenge things. Because you get to go home. These people have to stay there. And there's young people. There's kids on this property too. And he goes and conjures something up. So what can you communicate with the other one? Tell you its name? Like, what do you think's coming out of that? And I don't remember him sending it back. You just have to bury the mirror for a few hours, something along those lines. And I'm thinking, that's not going to work.
Yeah, everybody's with us on that one. They're all in a Facebook page.
He screwed up. Yeah, but dumbass.
Yeah, if you're feeling lonely on YouTube, just go over to the Outer Realm page because the party's there. Just saying. Everybody's on Facebook there.
I can see everybody.
And then they can see. But in case they're feeling lonely.
I just don't want to put the comments like dumbass.
No, we're just repeating it.
I'm not ditzing the show. It's not up to the family to it's not up to them. They don't know. This is why they're bringing people in to help them get through this. And here we go. John Edwards, demons get the money. You betcha. So it's not cool. You do stuff like this. Who are you to do something like this and then not properly? If you knew how to get rid of the thing, you'd have got rid of the other one.
You know what? I have never I probably watched paranormal TV since I could, like literally since it's been on. And I have never seen them invite an entity to remove it or to tell them what the other is. He the medium or the researcher?
It's the researcher. He brought in.
What the hell is he doing going in there?
I don't know. I don't know. Call it as I see it. My first words were, "Oh no." Yours and mine both. Okay.
So this is on Canadian
Mm.
television as well?
Yes, they
I need to
absolutely
know
do, John.
after the show what
Oh
this
no, I have
is.
American television,
Yeah, I know.
I
No, but Bradley
really.
saw it, so didn't
Oh, it
he?
must be then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which Canadian channel is it on, Bradley? Do you remember?
Did you see it, Bradley, or are you just reacting to it and I
No, we
missed that?
saw it. Yeah, call it.
Oh,
Yeah, he
Wayne,
was
I
saying
don't
he
have
knows the
Facebook. It's
one.
okay,
Yeah,
Wayne. I can see you.
yeah, we can see you fine. It's no problem. So it's just to me, it's one of those things. To each his own. I don't pretend to be the expert here, despite what television will tell
Oh,
you.
Discovery Plus. Yeah.
you know,
See?
I know that I try to work ethically with respects to not putting the family at any kind of risk. I'm just dying for the next segment because I have to see what happens from this point on,
Now I need to find out what this is because
because this was an experiment
I don't know. I
too.
might start drinking if I watch something like that.
But this is an experiment. Like, let's just see what
Oh,
happens
on
to
a
her.
family?
She's at a different location and they're trying to figure out, okay, what is she feeling while we're doing this?
Why
And
did he have to invite another entity in to find out how she's feeling or
it's
what
a
she's
very,
doing?
it's a
If there's
very,
an alleged attachment, it'll be with her. Sorry,
no, exactly. But
I'm losing
he
my
wanted to
shit.
say to him, okay, who's this guy? What's his name? Like, I don't really know, but I know
Then you
that
bring in a medium.
I think seasoned, he's, 20 years in, man, you got to be pretty seasoned and you must have had some experiences. And okay, but you want to take chances. You want to take chances. Oh, Bradley. She actually is
Oh
pretty.
no, this is a toast
She's
moment,
pretty
Amelia.
right on,
No,
actually.
it's I if the
It's a
medium
toast
I
moment.
said then you bring in the medium to find
Right.
out who it is. That's what I said. I am not roasting the
No, no, no,
medium
no, no, no,
at
no.
all.
No, no,
I've
no.
never even seen the show.
The medium's actually
I'm
pretty accurate with things. The only thing
yes.
I am stating here is that you want to take chances with yourself as a researcher, have at her. But taking a chance in somebody else's space on somebody else's property and you don't know how the freaking heck to get rid of something. I mean, clearly,
Oh, but
if
even
you
in a
need to
public
do
space.
this extreme to make contact, you may want to try to do something else because I don't think it's a good idea at all.
I wonder if the mirror and the symbols, I wish I could see the symbols. I wonder if that was real or
Made
if
for
it
TV. It's got
was
to be like, I mean, obviously, we know how TV works. Yeah, no,
she's not bad. No, we
no,
never
she was
said she
actually pretty
was.
bang on.
We never said she was. I
No, I
said,
like her. I like the other girl because,
yeah,
and
no,
remember, he's inexperienced in what he's attempting. It's not even just that. The fact that he's been in this for like 20 years, apparently, you should know you don't take chances
hi,
like that
Doreen.
with people. It's not
No,
up to myself. I would never take that kind of a chance. And I
no.
work with these entities, like in working in the field of having to come up against these
But
entities.
it's
I don't mean I
different. We
literally
can
work with them, but
yeah, but you can identify them. He can't. I need to say this one more time because there's confusion. I am not, and nor is Michelle. We are not attacking the
no,
medium.
no, no,
We
no,
are
no.
giving
So I'm
her
not mentioning
credit.
any names. I'm
No,
not mentioning the show.
no,
I
no,
don't want to label the show. I
no.
like the show.
Yeah,
I
all
do.
I'm saying is that
I would
he
do things
should
different.
he should have brought in the medium to find out what the entity
He did.
was because but he never should have gone through the mirror part. And I hope you're listening, buddy, because like what you're
And
doing.
Bubba's gonna kick your
Well,
ass.
I'm not the nice one out of the two of us, but like what I would never give the show name or anything like that
No,
either.
no.
I don't want to give attention to the poor family that God knows what's going on now there. And I need to know more about the symbols you put on that mirror because I want to know if you are bringing in another entity to tell you what the other entity is, why are you putting symbols and what symbols are on that mirror and what do they mean? Because I'm starting to wonder that you know more than you're saying. Because
Anybody
otherwise,
can
why
look in
don't
a
you
book and
just
find a sigil or find a
yeah, but
symbol
all you
and
have
put
to
it
do
in.
is if you want to communicate, is just hit your recorder. So all this drama is definitely for television. Yes, definitely playing. And I don't think you should take chances in public places because what people don't realize is that you affect the neighborhood because kids will go into abandoned places.
This show is actually pretty much a neighborhood.
No, I know,
Like
but I'm saying when you said don't go into a family home, I don't think you should start shit in a public place either.
And I agree with John.
Yeah.
If they're dark symbols, that's a game changer. It is.
I
I mean,
need
if
to
you're
see them.
bringing something forward, and we're going to talk about mirrors in a little bit, but if you're bringing something forward and the sigil is there to bring forward an entity, then if you don't know how to put it back, well, no, then we just bury the mirror. Well, I think you need to put it back before you try to bury the mirror. And if you do, how do you know you succeeded? Because, it's not so cut and dry. You don't take now they got two
entities running around. Wayne
Hold
says.
on. We're devil and the name of the demon on a recording.
recorded.
Oh, see right there. See, Bradley, I'm
Did
glad
they
you
play
paid
the name
attention.
of the demon, Bradley? Because that's wrong too. Just saying.
See, by this point, I'm watching it and going, and I'm trying to pick up my jaw. And after that, I stop watching because I'm like, oh,
it's not enjoyable.
Who are you?
I used to love them, and ever since working in the paranormal side, other than the criminal side, like I can't. People go, "Do you watch crime shows?" I actually got yelled at online for that because I was opposed to Discovery Plus showing the Carla Homolka and what's his name.
Yeah,
so, anyways,
yes, they did. According to Patricia, who broke the mirror. Oh, great! So that doesn't have a way back out.
He broke the mirror. So what else? Did we leave a door open before breaking that mirror?
Did he put it through before he broke the mirror?
Do we need Sam and Dean?
Okay, here we go. Yeah, get the salt.
No, to put this
for 24 hours, and then they're supposed to dig it up and break it. Yes, they did say the name of it on air. Outstanding. So now everybody's going to be playing this trick. It's just like, I really,
don't call us
ranting because I don't do crazy ass stuff like that. What have I always said? It is not about evidence. It is not about, having your own experience. The family is putting their faith in you to help them experiments and such. No, you know what? When a family is in distress, I think a good medium could figure out, the medium on the show seemed to think, no, you know what? There's something not right here. I think at that point you need to consider, you know what? Let's attempt to get rid of this. Let's bring in a medium, maybe to consider moving on some spirits. Let's filter the spirits out and see what's left.
That poor medium.
To experiment with a family.
Yeah.
And you've got the youngest is 15, but holy crud, that's an impressionable age. This family has to live here when you leave.
I think Bradley's should be highlighted. I think a lot of people in the field, we know this. We don't want to say the name because it's an invitation. But if you're watching it and thinking it's entertainment and you continually say it, you're actually inviting it in. Okay. Right. So, yeah. But anyways. So,
I know. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. We don't do readings on the show.
Yeah, we don't do that. Sorry. Okay. Want to get that one?
Yes. John Edward says, problem being old grimoires contain ancient talismans and amulets, how to perform magical spells, charms and divination, and I'm having trouble. Let me just grab this. How to summon or invoke supernatural entities as angels, spirits, deities, and demons. Symbols of power. What are the symbols? That's what I need to know, John.
Well, if you're looking at, sigils, allegedly sigils are names of, if you're getting into Solomon's stuff, they're the names, right? But I look at it this way. It's a man-made thing because usually these entities are not going to just haul off and give you their name, at least not their real ones. At the end of it all, even if it was a fake this and that, even if it was a made for television fake thing, it's about intention here, and you're giving off the impression that this is the thing you should do. This is a good way of making communication.
You should come on, Michael. Yeah. What about a good old Ouija board? Yeah. Sure. Well, that's what I don't understand. So I'm wondering, Michael, if the reason why he put the sigils and the symbols or whatever on that mirror, if it was just for TV. I have to wonder. I need to see.
But is the mirror intention? Let's say this guy knows what he's doing and he just did this for shits and giggles for TV. Do you know how many people
I
are
know.
are couch investigators who are going like, oh, hey, let's give this a whirl?
Well, yeah.
And now you've got problems because they're not seasoned investigators. Most seasoned investigators, I don't believe, would use
Excuse
a
me.
technique like that and put a family at risk. That
Hey,
just
Peg.
hello,
Wow. Haven't seen
Peg.
you in forever, my friend. How are
She
you?
lives.
Yes, she's
Yeah,
back. She's
privately.
back. Miss you, Peg.
Yeah,
Peg Nick, owner of the Knickerbocker.
been on the show a
Ooh,
couple
haunted
times.
hotel. Let me tell you.
So
Look her up. Families that need help do it in private, usually, and people who are using the show sign up the rights. And the shows put things in a 20-minute, 8-minute format.
and
Yes,
they
been on the
certainly
other end of that.
and they don't tell you what they're going to do, unfortunately. And with that being said, that's where you end up with a lot of problems. I personally, it's called integrity,
Humor.
people. You don't do things to put the family at risk. You just don't. It's beyond an investigation. Now you are changing, you're changing the playing field a little bit, and that's not cool. That's not
Ah,
cool under any way, shape, or form. You
no.
get to go home. These people are stuck with whatever it is you've bloody done for your experiment. So I'm sorry. I don't mean to shoot, not
No,
shooting
I
arrows
think
here, but I want people to know that this is not okay. Do not try this at home. Let's put it that way.
Michelle, clearly whoever was directing this episode and produced it isn't versed, or they never would have permitted it.
Yeah. It's,
And if you are versed and you still did it, shame on you, man. That's
Tamara.
yeah. So how many phone calls are you going to get because stupid people? It's a lot of emails.
Oh,
But let me tell you something. When Michael brought up Ouija boards, I'll never forget when that Charlie thing, and it was just a myth, went on, and they started doing the pencils, and then they started doing a particular television show brought out the Ouija board demon. I'm not saying his name. Don't put it in the chat, please, for in case we have like people
no, because
underage
we did have
watching.
Darren Evans on the show, and Darren did talk about said entity and
Yes.
with great detail, actually.
Yes, we did have him on the show, and he's amazing. I love him. He's so easy to talk to.
Mhm.
I'm not putting
Very
down
versed.
Ouija boards. All I'm saying is there's a process to it, doing it properly and safely to any type of communication. Now, to add to that, when you see this on television, the first ones you're going to get are the teens trying to reach those entities. And let me tell you, after Charlie, which is a joke, it's not real, did it with pencils.
Right.
Okay. Yes, no. And then they started on the Ouija board. I didn't know you yet. I worked more that year on this side of my work rather than crime than I have ever my entire life, other than when I started working with Michelle. So that tells you how much attention comes across. Now, that episode, of course, aired at Halloween. So you could imagine well into Christmas and beyond how busy my emails got. And I had to look for people because I didn't work this stuff.
Mhm.
I had to look for people to help.
I'm busy all the
Remote
time.
viewing,
It's
but I
never
didn't
changed.
do that
Yeah.
kind of thing. I worked with missing children. And
Mhm.
for me, that stuff scared me. But
Right.
yeah, just please be careful whichever way you're doing. No one's saying don't communicate. No one's saying don't reach out. We are simply saying, let's just be safe and do it
Calm down,
properly.
people, is
Learn
what you all need to do.
how to
Thought
do it.
forms can become real. This is true. They're like
Yeah.
tulpas, like
Yeah,
Slender Man
they
is a
absolutely
tulpa,
do. I just
for
want to say,
example.
give a shout out to Aurora North to say thank you for checking in on me. I had tears when I saw your message. It's not often that people will message me in Messenger to see how I'm doing. So thank you so much for reaching out. I adore you, honestly. And I hope we do meet one day because we live so close. But yeah, I just want to put that out there because I'm having a lot of problems because a lot of people are messaging me and asking me for readings that I just know you on Facebook. I don't give readings.
Rant
I
number
haven't
2.
in years. Yeah, that's rant number 2.
Rant
I
number
haven't in
2.
years. And it's especially difficult. I do it for friends. I do it for people whose children have passed and they're trying to communicate, and I don't charge. But never do I do readings because you're having an issue. at home or with your family or with your boyfriend or your house. That's not the work that I do. I'm really sorry. There are a lot of good mediums you can find online and on Facebook. I can even refer you to some. You can find them, my friends. They're constantly messaging. We have a lot of friends who are mediums who do readings, but I just don't. I've never been that person.
I've never done readings.
I've never
day
been
one.
that person. It's always
No.
been, because I worked missing children in cold cases, I've always done readings. I did readings on a podcast. I did when I first started. I was learning. And I'm always having an issue with that. But
We
Alex
know,
and I are friends, so it's different. I'll do it
Yeah.
for friends and family. And Alex
Yeah.
is a friend, and I did promise him. Hi, Wayne, Murphy,
Wayne.
TT, and Nate.
Thank
Wish you
you.
all the best. Can't wait to see you on screen again. Yeah, I just want to say that you're wasting your time if you're messaging me. I don't even read messages from people I don't know. And if you know me on Facebook and you're messaging me and asking
You
me
should
for
know
a
better.
reading, that really hurts my feelings. That's all I'm going to say. I have a lot of work that I do with Michelle, and I still do cold cases. I have one in particular that keeps my attention and has since 2014. And I'm not mentioning it because it's not cold, it's not closed, and it's not cold. So forgive me, and I have my own stuff on my plate right now with my daughter's health. So forgive me if I don't have the energy to respond, or, I keep putting it out there. I keep putting it on my Facebook, but it doesn't seem to click with a lot of people. And that's probably because we're not that close that you're actually reading my newsfeed. So I'm just saying. But anyways, I'm going to lose it. I just find it very offensive, and honestly, I really do. I'm not going to lie. It's offensive. My first time here. Well, sorry, Sue.
Welcome.
Welcome, though. Yeah, you came in at the wrong rant. I'm so sorry. I don't even know you, so it doesn't apply to you. But just know that the work that I do with Michelle is very serious and very time consuming and keeps us on our toes. And I really can't afford to keep opening doors.
And I'm pretty much like 7 days a week dealing with people and media and consultations and things like that. So I can't
Lots of
respond on
burritos.
social media.
Yes. Yeah, Alex knows me. Cheer up with burritos. Burritos or pizza,
burritos.
really.
Oh, burritos.
That's so, Michelle, do you feel the same way I do? Is that he is missing a big part of the research. Going back to that program.
The show, on the Land of Family. Yes, I do.
No,
I think he was
Adriana.
actually doing really well getting there. And then all of a sudden just kind of sidetracked into the WTF world of what the heck are you thinking?
Yeah.
So anyway, but here you go. Sympathy
No,
from
I
Adriana.
know. Thank you, Adriana. Amelia, you don't owe your energy to anyone. You do it. Thank you. I adore you. I would read you in a heartbeat. I'm just saying, it's really hard when you're not friends with people, but they think that because you're on Facebook,
that your friends, yeah.
And it's okay to ask you because you've read them many years ago. I haven't done readings in a long, long time. And then if I say no, they actually will block me and get all offended.
Then it's their loss, not
I
yours,
know, but it's
apparently.
been a really rough year for me.
Yeah.
So between my dad and my daughter needs a transplant, and between my dad passing and having to go through every holiday without him, Christmas coming, Easter coming up is really hard as well. He was always at my house for every holiday. So I'm trying to stay balanced, and it's hard. And if I didn't have Michelle, I'd probably be in a psych ward right now. It's been hard. So please, if you're looking for a reading and you really, really need the reading, look for someone on Facebook. There's so many of them, and you can find a lot of the mediums that are on television are giving readings on Facebook. Like, you can connect with them on Facebook and message them, and they will give you readings. Of course, a lot of them are charging, but that's their business.
That's their business.
That's what they do.
livelihood.
It's their line of work. So you go to a lawyer and you get advice. You're paying for his time. You're paying for time with those mediums as well. And I know April does readings. April Wessett from Holzer Files. You can find her on Facebook. You can find Lori Johnson. There's so many people. Paul Francis is there. Miss Cleo. Yeah. Don't call her. Is she still alive? My God. I don't know, man. I thought she went with what's her name?
Mm.
Sonia Brown, Sandra Brown. What was her name?
I don't even
God,
know. But you
I
know
don't know.
what? Getting getting we'll get off topic. We're going to talk about mirrors right
Mm,
now since we were talking about
good.
mirrors.
Yes.
Um, oh, here we go.
I'll tell people to come to me. I'll give them a reading if they're lying.
All right.
Sylvia
Sylvia
Brown.
Brown. That
Thank
might be
you,
hard
Peg.
pressed these days, but
Thank
yeah,
you,
yeah,
Peg. No, I was trying
yeah.
to reach for her name and I couldn't remember
Sylvia
her
Brown.
name.
Yeah,
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 I think Miss Cleo went around those.
yeah.
No,
Michael
are
says
you
you'll need
sure,
a
Michael?
medium to talk to Miss Cleo now.
Okay, okay. So she
Yeah,
is with Sylvia Brown.
yeah, yeah. I think so. Yeah. So Adriana says, "Hot Peg."
Hi, Peg. See,
There
Peg,
we
everybody
go.
misses you. So
There we
glad you're back
go.
on Facebook.
So getting back to this this
You
guy
lost.
with the mirrors, thing is with mirrors, mirrors have been for like ages, ages have been used to do divination, witchcraft, occultism, but with genuine faith,
Oh,
scrying, but it's also a really big feng shui thing too, right? But they move and
I'm sorry.
carry energy, literally. So you don't want to be sitting there. For example, you wouldn't want to be in the middle of two mirrors while you're trying to get some sleep because that would not be a good thing. That's going to cause a whole lot of really strong energy. And I don't think you want to catch that. I got a little snippet of something today that I thought was really interesting. I just want to read it off to you guys because I thought it was super interesting. She goes, remember that your door lets your life force in and it enters in. A mirror reflects everything, which means it will
Mhm.
bounce back any energy that is trying to come into your home. You could place it on a wall, in your entryway, as long as it doesn't face outwards. You could also place it on a wall that angles from your front door into your home to help your chi move into that space. But speaking of doubling, when you have two across from one another, they're streaming energy back and forth between them. And this is definitely not something that you want. No, because things will come through. But you don't want to sleep between that either because there's so much energy, too much for relaxing or for you to find yourself into a peaceful state. But again, she goes, you might get up in the middle of the night, for example, and your conscious knows that that is your reflection in the mirror, but your subconscious is momentarily startled. Since you basically rejuvenate at night, you do not want this disruption to occur. I thought when I saw that, I thought that's really actually pretty interesting,
Mhm.
that it would be there's so much to them, but they really are a divination tool. And it's funny, where is it?
Yeah. And then I'm gonna
There
show.
we
I'm
go.
going to show. Going to. Gotta
I have
stop
to
saying
get back into a scrying mirror. I also have a scrying mirror that I don't use for scrying,
gonna. Oh God,
and
I
and
hate that mirror.
it's a big
I
crazy
hate
black
that
mirror.
mirror.
It's really old. Amelia hates it.
Amelia shields it. Which I'm like,
Shield
I
the
love
mirror.
it. I think it's a gorgeous mirror. I just
Yeah,
don't want any part in it.
it's
Just
this
saying.
big black old beautiful
Just
thing.
saying.
Yeah, people are beating down the door at one time to try to purchase that. I'm just like, yeah,
And
you're opening
when
up
you're
stuff
done, I'm
all over
going
the
to
place.
show you something
I
and
know.
tell you how easily we all make mistakes and how we forget about certain things because we think.
Here we go.
I'll let you know when you tell me when it's okay, and
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so behind my shoulder, and you can't see it because it's covered. It's around this area. We're
I see the
backwards.
crystal ball.
Okay,
All mine are covered. I got one like
it's
this big.
covered.
It's
It's
covered.
covered. Michelle's is gorgeous. It's covered.
Huge,
Okay.
huge
What do I
basketball.
forget? I take this from my daughter. Look at it. Look
Right.
what it is.
Cube.
What is it made of?
Glass mirrors. Yeah.
I go and I put it on my table directly across the freaking. This is the kind of stuff we do without thinking. So imagine if it's that easy for me to forget. Imagine, take a look through your house if you do have anything that's scrying, or if you do have crystal balls, or if your mirrors, oftentimes we can clear a house just by figuring out that your two mirrors are across from each other.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
All
it
my
could be
crystal
something
balls
so
are covered,
simple.
every single one of them.
Mine is
We've got like
covered,
8 of
but
them in
there's
the house.
there's always little gaps. And not only
Yeah.
that, there's a window across from here. Even though the window's covered, the
Oh, I
light still
know.
comes in. And I'm like, I really didn't think this through. When I just threw it on my desk because she goes, "Oh, I don't want it." And I'm like, "Oh, what do you mean you don't want it? Like, don't throw it out." So yeah, I did the
Right.
mama thing, and look what happened. Just saying,
And John
that
says,
week was busy.
do scrying mirrors work? I think a lot of it has to do with intention. Some people use crystal balls, some people use mirrors, some people use water. There's all kinds of different things you can do
Yeah,
for scrying, and it really is.
I
It
don't.
really is about intention.
I don't scry. I don't use anything. I just have them because I think they're pretty. I
And here
don't.
we
I
go.
think crystal balls are beautiful. I don't even know how to use one. Alex Rondini says, John Edwards, it
Yeah.
did for me. I saw a couple of weird
Right.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they definitely can bring things through with reflection. They are divination,
Oh, yeah.
used for divination. It makes sense.
You
There's
can
a lot
scry
of
over a
noises in
lake.
the house tonight, just saying.
Yeah, you can scry over a lake.
Yeah. There we go.
So
That's what I'm
I
saying.
see a lot of stuff in water. If I go
Yeah.
to a place where someone has been murdered, and I have to walk the crime scene to figure out the paces and who was there and whatnot, I read the area. If there's water, I go to the water and I get in it if I can, if it's not
Mhm.
like right now. And I will walk and look to see if there's any signs, because I know the spirits are still roaming
Close.
because I've
Yeah.
already connected,
Right.
and they're stuck. That's why I'm there. And I'll go and I will check and see if they're trying to show me anything in the water, in the reflection of the water. So
Right.
basically, I'm scrying there to make it easier, because usually when I'm called in, it could be shortly after the body was found. So,
Mm.
but
Yeah.
that one's, you have to be careful.
It's
You know?
true. You do. Intention is everything. Mindset is everything. What
What
about
about relics and other objects? Yeah. Michael, did you want to just join in?
yeah, for yeah, relic. There's a lot of things that you can use.
Michael's an investigator, but he's also a host on this network.
2 shows: the Red Pill News
Yeah.
and Discovery Paranormal. See my middle
Discovery
finger go up?
Paranormal.
Sorry about that.
Mm.
Face popped out, not literally, but I saw an image of an individual. Yep. California accurate. Yep. Always accurate. Always accurate. Okay, I missed something up in here. Where am I? There we go. Bradley says, I keep a glass of water beside me to collect the negative energy.
Oh, that's different.
It's true. That actually does
different.
work. That's a whole other way. I won't even look in a mirror in the dark. I can't do it.
I'm with you,
Yes.
Patricia. I don't look at myself in a mirror. It's really weird. Sometimes I think if it's got anything to do with what I do.
And Michael wants us to send a link.
Yeah.
1 sec.
Fine.
Michael wants to join in.
We'll let you talk.
Wait 1 second. I'm working on it, Michael. I'm working on it.
Send a link.
Send a link. I'm trying. As you can see, I'm struggling miserably. Okay, 1 second. It's coming
Mirrors.
at you.
So closing out mirrors.
Okay, coming at you. Oh, it's not going to work. It's not letting me send it this way.
I don't look at myself in mirrors either. Oh, it's Mara. But is it because you feel like something might look back? Because that's how I am.
Hold on, Michael. I have to try this a different way. Try the old-fashioned way. 1 second. Working on it, people. Working on it.
Not big mirrors, like little mirrors, of course, because I have to get my makeup on somehow. But I'm not one to look at reflections and things like that.
And
unless
down.
I have to.
All right, Michael. Sent. You've got yourself a link. There we go.
For him than typing. But
yeah,
okay. I have a feeling Joe will probably join us if he
because he would.
Because he's in LA. So
yeah.
So what would you say closing out on mirrors then, Michelle? You should see how many she has. I'm just saying, and they're not all displayed.
And no, I probably got close to. I'm probably down to about 50 or 60 mirrors. and the big, beautiful. A lot of them are put away. I know when we were filming Paranormal Survivor season 5 here, and people actually we did part of season 4 and season 5 here, and of course my friends, Linda and Katie were coming in, and they walk in, they look up this big grand arch staircase and all these mirrors, and I'm like, it's all strategically placed,
Yeah,
nothing
that's
reflects
me
on
when I walked in.
anything.
I just went, oh.
Those are mirrors, all right. Hey, Michael.
Hi, Michael. How
Hey,
are
what's
you?
happening?
How are you?
All right.
Good.
Do you have
Why,
anything closing out on mirrors?
why so many
I did a whole
mirrors?
show about mirrors a couple of shows ago, and it's fascinating because they've been used for so long for all kinds of issues, and people cover them up back in the day when somebody was dying in a
Yeah.
room.
Yeah, that's true. And you know what? It's funny because some like indigenous cultures used to think that a mirror could steal your soul. Like if you
Yeah.
looked into it, right?
Yeah.
Probably the same reason, like if you pass away, that they don't want the
Is
spirit
that
getting confused, I think, right?
is
So
that why Jewish people cover the mirrors after someone passes?
oh,
Michael?
And they don't want them
Like,
to be absorbed in the mirror,
yeah.
oh, okay, to be taken in. Okay, I understand that now.
That's what Adriana says. We do that in Romania after death. So it's a pretty old tradition.
Yeah.
Um,
The Italians would cover it because you were supposed to only focus on the person who passed and pray for them. You weren't to be distracted by the mirrors.
mhm,
But that's way, way back. I'm talking like way back, my grandmother's time.
mhm.
I've captured a lot of images in mirrors and glass to windows. I mean, I have
Yes.
pictures, full body apparitions in windows and glass. So it's a reflection. It's that two
It's
dimensional,
reflection.
whatever
Yeah.
holds it. So now mirrors, most of the backing is either a precious metal. So they use silver commonly, which is a great conductor of electricity. But when you think of the
Yeah.
properties of mirrors, it's really set up for that kind of portal, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think so too. I we've had issues where we've had I don't want to call them cases, problems. People have had problems where things have come through mirrors and continued, and you'll often see or hear paranormal shows that they've bought an antique mirror and all of a sudden they've got paranormal activity in their house. That's so common on the shows,
Mhm.
but it really does happen.
I think so because it is
Yeah.
reflection. I think it is reflection. We got other people chiming in here. Adriana says we cover TVs or
TV.
anything reflective. That
Yeah.
would make sense.
Well, my grandmother's
Um,
time, they didn't have television, so
who switched over to Facebook. Yeah, we're on 8 different platforms actually. Sorry, but yeah, I think you're in the right one now.
yeah,
So,
you're good,
yeah.
Susie. You're
Um,
good, Wayne. Let me see what
Wayne,
he has to say. It was the same idea when photography came into being. People briefed, right? Briefed that the camera would steal a piece of the person's soul.
believed. Yeah.
And believed, sorry.
Wayne's
A cam-
language.
would steal a piece of the person's soul. And that was how the photo came into being. I forgot about that. That's right. They used to be afraid. Where did Michael go?
I don't
They
know.
used to be they used to be
Inland
afraid. And
economics.
the beautiful Peg Nick says, my thoughts on mirrors are the holders of our judgments of ourselves. Wow. How we
Mhm.
feel about ourselves, to talk out our problems. We review our days, so many things we do in front of the mirror, and I enjoy collecting them. Oh, I love that.
And she does. See, I'm not the only one that has a mirror fetish. So,
No, I love
yeah.
mirrors because I think they're beautiful, and I don't know
Oh, I've
why
got
I'm
lots of
attracted.
mirrors.
I know I love your
I just
staircase.
oh, that's just a real small part of the mirrors I have, and I
You
don't know
brought me
why. I
upstairs to
just
see the
fancy
other
I
ones. I
just
know.
do. Oh, the other ones are I've got one that's 7 feet tall,
Yeah,
4 feet wide.
I know. I asked John if I could have one of those. He's like, no. Letting autocorrect. Right, Wayne? Yes.
I do. I love my
Yes.
mirrors. I don't know why.
Okay.
Um,
Sissy.
that's
Native
some
Americans believe that, and some still do. I do. I don't like having my picture taken. I don't like having my picture taken, but not for that reason. But that I find that very interesting. Why not?
It's a transfer of
Right?
energy. Why
It
couldn't it?
absolutely is. And it's kind of creepy when you think about it. It's almost like a doppelganger, a doppelganger piece of
It
your
could
soul, right?
be. It
I can
could be.
understand how it's looked at that way.
Um,
Oh,
I had a question asked to me that I can't answer. A voice that you hear a captain recorder, could it be that the voice of one's self-conscious? Yes, and I'll tell you why I believe that. Because I basically had, because I one time was at an investigation that I really didn't want to be at. My daughter wasn't feeling well. I'm trying to actually locate this EVP for another researcher friend of mine who's been on the show, because they're opening up a parapsychology school, and I told them they could use it because apparently this hasn't been captured before. This was actually captured in reverse mode, is how they found it when they checked the EVP. And all I remember saying, while my colleague was talking to the person, the homeowner, in my mind, all I kept saying was, like, I have to get home to, and I said my daughter's name, I have to get home to Angie, right? And beyond that, that was all. And then he sent me the recording, and it was my voice imprinted onto that recorder. So do I believe our subconscious can go onto a recording? Yeah. What do you think, Michael? You've probably come across all kinds of different
I'll tell you
situations.
a crazy story.
Okay.
And it was about a year and a half, maybe 2 years before my mom died. I was picking up my ex's daughter at at summer camp. It was, her final year there. She was like 16. Uh,
Mhm.
and then I'd gotten this phone call. It came, when my mom calls me, her number comes up. This said private message. I picked it up, and she's like, "Michael, help me," just like that. I was like, "Oh my God!" And it was my mom's voice. It was her. I mean, saying Michael, identifying me. So I picked up
Right.
the ex. I'm like, "We got to go to my mom's house. There's something going on." And I kept trying to call her, and her phone was busy, 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 and which was also weird. But I finally got her. Like 20 minutes later, I was almost to her house, and she had been on the phone with my sister Karen, just talking to her, and everything was fine. I will tell you, when she got her cancer, and they called me in the middle of the night because she was having an issue. She said, "Michael, help me," and it was the same voice. It was exactly the
It
Oh,
same thing.
resonated.
It was
that
Wow.
must
exactly
have
the same thing.
that must have
And
hurt. Yeah.
you wonder about how does that happen? I mean,
Hmm.
you can't really have. There's no real explanation for it in a real science sense. But I
No.
believe we get these messages. I believe there's some kind of overflow, like because time overlaps itself, which is why mirrors and glass and other objects can hold that kind of energy too.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I
but that
agree.
when I heard her actually say it, I was like blown away because it was exactly the same, and I don't know, makes you think.
Yeah. As Barbara
Yeah,
says,
that
could
must
your
have been tough.
self-conscious be telling us something or give us information on the future? I think if it can transfer, it could probably say just, about anything.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Okay, I'm just working my way down here.
Hi, Corinne.
Any of the circus mirrors that can change image? No. Alex, burrito boy?
I
No.
took it. It's at my house. It's the one that makes me look half the
Exactly.
size. Yeah.
How much does a 7-foot tall mirror weigh? Wayne
Wayne
knows.
knows.
I
I
don't want to
bet
talk
Wayne does.
about it. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Corinne says our minds and souls have amazing powers. Yes, absolutely. Dolly says, see, she's having the autocorrect problem. There is no time in psychic transmission part
Yarnism.
2. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think, mirrors definitely have a way of obviously transferring energy, but obviously imprinting. I think there's a way. I had one researcher try to trap an entity in a mirror, and it reminded me a little bit about like with the Constantine movie, where they brought a mirror over an entity to trap it, and only he used a different method. When he put the mirror facing towards where he believed the entity was, he used light, like a flame, to draw it in from the other way. I
Mhm.
couldn't quite get the concept of it at that point. And to be honest, I know I loved it too. I don't know if it actually worked or not. I mean, things went very quiet, but I also know that entities will sometimes give you the illusion, that, oh yeah, I'm gone. It's all good, right? Peg again.
Am I the only one who cried in Constantine?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, I cried for him. Okay. Pegnick, I refer to it as silent screaming. We give off an energy, even if we don't have the words or the sound coming out. And that moves the airways, and airways have energy. So then it can be picked up on a magnetic tape. And then when you play it, it maybe becomes the words.
Yeah, I absolutely agree 100% on that.
Okay, Aurora cried too. Thank you, Aurora. I'm the sap. I cry everywhere, but
Aurora, you're a suck up. Stop it.
I'm a sap. She's
kidding.
the nice one. She messaged me to see how I was. Where's the nice one?
Susie, go ahead.
Susie, I have attended many deaths as a nurse. I'm blind, people. I'm so sorry. And as a spiritual practitioner, there were a few times I had to release a hitchhiking spirit from my patient before they could pass peacefully. That happens a lot.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here's another question. Michael, what do you think of this one here? Our shadows we see, could they be a reflection of ourselves in another realm? Some people believe they're ET related too.
Shadows, I don't know. They're shadow figures.
Take a stab at it, Michael.
Like shadow people, some people think it's interdimensional. Some people think they're time travelers. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I've seen shadow figures, and those people were whatever they were. I've seen shadow figure blobs that seemed intelligent in investigations. As for my own shadow, no, it's just the light that I'm casting. But going back to mirrors, I mean, whenever I go into an investigation, if there's any mirrors there, I take a load of pictures of them from all angles, and I also kind of think of it. It's like when you do an investigation is one thing, mechanical, but when you kind of like put a foot in that world and you start targeting and thinking about those things, that's when they all come out. But I got some phenomenal pictures of. Even we were doing a crossing, which a lot of people call seances. In a serial killer's home, right? Trying to move people on. In the window, there was a woman praying, like some kind of almost like a nun. She had on the hood, and she had her hands together, and you can see it clearly. And I love the window pics because I take them 5 or 6 at a time. So, in quick succession. So, and if you have one image of a face within that 5 or 6, that's pretty cool. Because then you can say, okay, they weren't there. I did the 5 in that one house. I got the girl in one, and I got the serial killer's guy, Bill Ely, in another. So pretty cool stuff. But that's mirrors. I mean,
I'll have a question for you, Michael. Do you think that people need to use like you're a photographer, you take a lot of photos and they're very artistic. Do they need your talent to capture things like that, or know how to take that type of photo? Or do you think they can get that kind of spirit photography? Yeah.
I've been playing around with stuff. I mean, it depends on how far people are along with their photography, So I like using filters. I use UV filters. I was at Gettysburg a couple weeks ago, and I shot the whole place. I shot in UV and then also normal, just to see if I can get something. I mean, I got nothing. Not even a thing, which is kind of, it is what it is. You're not going to get something every time, even in an active place like that, But the best pictures that we ever had, we used a UV bulb and put it in a light, and the light had been shining on one area in that room, and then boom, I sent you guys that photo a while ago. You can see it fully in the picture. I mean, and that was with a normal camera, not infrared and anything like that. So. If you play around, anybody can play around with anything. I mean, it's just about testing and experimenting. That's all.
I don't know if I can get the picture up. Can anybody see this picture?
A lousy camera will give you a lousy image. So
this is a shadow person. Can you guys see it at all?
I think you have to tilt it towards the top, towards your light. It's a little bit better. Yeah, that's pretty. Pretty opaque.
I can't. It's too late for me to screen share.
Yeah.
I usually need it in advance. You guys see that guy right there in the middle there?
Yeah.
I can
Looks
see
like a hat man too, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty opaque. It's
Yeah.
pretty solid.
That's from Dolly. Thank you, Dolly.
Peg can't, so
Did
you
the
might
best
have to
you can.
send
You
it to
can't.
Peg.
Yeah, I can't. Okay, hold on. I'm
You
gonna
might have
try
to
again.
text it to her.
Yeah, how about now? If I put it further back, Peg, can you see that now? Yeah, doing my best. I'll send it to you,
I can
Peg.
see.
So, okay, let me see. I'm going to go in there. If you can't get yourself in a recorder, I wonder if you can capture yourself in other realms. Okay, awesome, Peg. I don't know. What do you think? If you can get yourself on a recorder, I wonder if you can capture yourself in other realms. You're digging deep tonight there, Bradley.
I wonder, Bradley, if sometimes when we listen to those back, with the EVPs, if some, we don't really know who those voices are.
Well, that could be dimensional.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, yeah,
You know.
he's not far fetched with that one. That's
Alex.
Yeah. Alex always has the funny
Yeah.
ones. Just bring me a burrito and stop typing. If a voodoo
That's a
doll
pretty
can be
serious
used
question.
to influence someone remotely,
Right.
mirrors, drawings, or pretty much anything image related could theoretically be used to influence or steal a soul. Very good point.
Again, are we dealing with intention? It's like curses. Here's a question for all you guys, and Michael included. Do you think curses work? I'm of the mind that if you believe it works, if somebody says they're cursing you, if you believe it to be effective, then I believe your mindset will make it so. But what do you guys think? What if you didn't know about it? Do you think a curse
You
works?
mean
Why don't we start
gypsies
with
aren't
Michael,
real?
and everybody else can chime in and chat, and we'll
You mean
put your
gypsies aren't real, Michael?
I think that anybody can. It depends on your level of ability, right? If you really have that level of emotion and angst against someone else, it's beyond just voodoo dolls or objects to focus on, or even candle magic and things like that. I think it's the intention, and but does somebody need to know if they're cursed? I don't know. It's as good as punching somebody in the face, I guess, right?
Right, because isn't that an influence?
Bringing the Oscars back.
Now, I do believe, I do believe that there are people out there who can, practitioners of different sects, shall we say? That's SECTS people. That's not SEX. Who basically, I believe you can do it. I think, however, is it as effective if you don't know about it? I think if you know about it, because a lot of times people want you to know about it. You start thinking that things are going wrong. I don't know. It's a real tough call.
I don't
with
tell
that.
anyone.
All right, so here's a real life situation. My friend, who I won't mention his name, lives in Far Rockaway, right? And in his building is a lot of Spanish people. He had gotten to an altercation with some people there. He said when he came home from work, there was this really elaborate thing on his door of something that they had made with like chicken's feet. He said it looked like little chicken's feet, but it was some kind of design. I was like, dude, that's the voodoo, man. Like they got some Santeria on you. And now he's like flipped out and wants to have an altercation with them, but there are people who practice Santeria. There are people who practice all kinds of stuff. Now he knows that they have an intent against him, so he starts hearing all kinds of voices now, sounds, weird things. When he's laying there in bed, he's seeing like this black cloud above him with all kinds of stuff. So, and then, and to me, it almost sounds like a little crazy, because you try to process it as you hear it, but then, we also have an open mind, but I'm also a skeptic, so. But I know the guy. I've known him since the mid '80s, and he's not the kind of person that would ever say any of this stuff.
Yeah.
But I think that they're on. But if he had not known, would it still have any kind of effect? I mean, or is it real to the point where they're reaching out to him in that kind of spiritual realm?
I believe in it, and I think it's also a culture thing because it is a huge belief in Italy, and they raise you to protect and ward yourself off from that negative energy and manifestation. It was ridiculous how many little medallions of different saints that I'd have pinned to my undershirt as a child. all the way
like your
into a
mother's
bra when
belief
you're older.
system.
My mom's belief, well, their culture, right? From their, every town has different beliefs, but most Italians do believe in negative energy being able to be placed and cursing people. They do. That's why we call the malocchio that relief. Malocchio is the evil eye.
Mm-hmm.
The
And
evil
they do.
eye, the spitting,
Yeah.
the people
Yes.
spit in people's path.
Some people spit. Yeah. The Italians deal with it different. They do this olive oil and water thing, and there's prayers. And we talked about this the other night. And I had said that you're not trained unless it's Christmas Eve at midnight, and then they train the next person, the next generation to go down. There's a lot of ceremonial, and it's been around for hundreds of years, you know, as long as Italy's been together. And my mom believed in that, and even though she was a devout Catholic, but I believe with any intention you can harm. If that's what you want to do, I really believe that. Whether they know or not that it's coming from you, they could just be experiencing bad luck, or they could be experiencing severe migraines or sick. It depends on what level you're at in that kind of practice. I personally don't like to, I would never do something like that to hurt someone, because I do believe in the laws of karma as well.
Well, absolutely. Absolutely. Alex, is essentially when you tell someone they've been cursed, that individual will start to assume that anything negative, you're just trying to mess with me, aren't you?
It's the damn autocorrect on Facebook.
Anything negative will be associated with the curse. You just have to pay more attention to it. Aurora says, someone tried to mess with me personally, and I was doing readings at a large festival in Old Montreal. Yeah, tried to send me something bad of African origin, but I stopped it.
You recognized it, so you could stop it.
What about generational curses? Families.
Oh yeah, I know, right?
From way back. I mean, I did a show on how to get rid of these curses and also how to curse people. I like to be balanced, you know. if you're gonna know, you know, it's the defense against the dark arts.
We're gonna help you defend, and then we're gonna teach you how to give it back.
Maybe. Peg says, how many people believe that you can be blessed and you get blessed and you feel good and you feel better and you feel happy? So if people can bless you, I can see they could probably curse you. Absolutely. Yes.
We said that too easily.
Alex, generational curses are fun. But here, you know what?
Not if you're going, the Kennedy men curse.
Yeah.
I think it's the Kennedy. Yeah, it is all men. You're right.
Yep.
The women outlive them.
Okay, Bradley. Okay, let's have a take on this. Everybody chime in. I was going to say I just experienced this a few days ago. It was like I walked past myself. I can't explain it. It freaked me out. It was like an out-of-body experience. Okay, chime in.
Interdimensional.
Yeah, I wonder if you kind of stepped into a different dimension. There have been situations where people have stepped out and they come and they walk around in another part of their house, and they walk right in and they can see themselves. They could see the whole situation unfolding.
Yeah, that happened with Penny on the show. Remember? And she said that the paths cross.
They cross.
The time something. I can't remember what she said.
No, like a time lapse or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. She's not on here. Otherwise, we would a time loop. Yeah, there we go.
Time loops are repetitive, aren't they?
Yes, a loop I think would be repetitive. I don't know.
It's Michael. Like getting in that door at Trump Tower and not being able to come out. Right? That.
I don't know, but it is really freaky. You know, we go back to like mirrors and stuff. I've always felt compelled to have them. I love mirrors. I don't know.
I wonder if James Dean had a mirror other than the mirror in his car. The other side. I wonder if he had something else, because they say his car was cursed and other programs have gone and they've got nothing off of it. But I believe his car was dismantled and sold off. I don't think it's intact. Do you know if it's intact?
No, it's not intact.
I don't think
but
so.
There have been a couple of people, I think, who had reported having bad luck after having a piece of the car, but for the most part, a lot of it's not even, people don't even know where it is.
They had someone
I think they've got the shell,
that pawn show that big pawn show on TV. I don't know what it is. They brought the car there.
Oh, so maybe they rebuilt it.
I'll tell you, there's objects that come in and something's going on because the whole mood changes. And those things go out, you're happy about it. And I even bought one from a friend of mine. It was a rattan, I guess, made of straw, whatever. It was like a Santa Claus, but he had painted it that pirate. So I go and buy it for $20. And I'm like, hey, how much for that thing out there? Oh, you want to buy it? Yeah. It's like, give me $20. I all weird, right? And I buy it, take it home, nothing but bad luck for 3 days. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. I'm like, it's the thing, it's the object. So I bring it back to him. I'm like, and he's like, oh, why are you bringing it back? I'm like,
No,
it's
I
gonna
don't
sound
know.
weird, but
It has
it's gonna sound weird,
friends.
but my life fell apart. And he's like, I've sold that thing 50 times, and and people keep bringing it back, and then they have all the same thing. I mean, whatever attached
Maybe he
itself to
should.
that thing.
Maybe he should give it to John's office.
Yeah,
I have no idea what even happened to it. He had moved, and bad luck happened to him too.
That's
He's
oh
like,
my
Belize,
god! Should
yeah,
have told him
yeah,
you're
he
not
went- he
allowed
went to Belize.
roommates.
He
Oh
went to
my
Belize,
God.
and the hurricane blew his whole place down, his business and everything. And then I don't know. Now he's in Florida, but he got
That's
cancer
just
and all
karma
kinds
for
of stuff.
trying to
I'll t-
repeatedly sell a terribly
Oh,
haunted
you know
mirror
what?
or
I
object.
think you're right. I think you're right. That's
the
Uh,
object was
terrible.
bad, but one day I walked into his shop and he threw me this metal tag. I'm like, and I caught it. I'm like, "What's this?" He's like, "It's a slave tag. It was worn by slaves, back."
thanks for
And I'm like,
that.
"Why did
Sure.
you hand it to me? Why did you?" I didn't even want to touch something like that. Not even touch it.
No, no,
So
no,
Yeah.
no,
he
no.
he dealt with relics that had a lot of pain associated to it. Also, one guy found a Roman sword in his shop, and they was sold it for $10,000. So he had like some cool old stuff, but it relics is like with Putin right now. I feel like the guy's got some kind of possession going on, and he was with COVID, and he was hanging out with all those
Yeah.
old Russian relics. I mean,
Yeah.
he was
With the
immersed himself in
Russian
history.
relic.
His family, but it's
Yeah.
okay.
No, I mean he has access to all the treasures. I mean, he was hanging out with that history.
Oh, you mean not
and
his
now
friends?
I think nah,
You mean real
but
relics?
he's definitely
Okay,
Donald
sorry.
wasn't.
We're just
Donald
trying to
wasn't
keep up.
there. Donald
Yeah.
wasn't there.
Yeah. Well, you
no
know what?
Donnie.
He would, because let's face it, there are a lot of stories of the Kremlin. The Kremlin is like mega haunted because it's built on layers and layers of things. And when they were doing a renovation there, like probably in the last decade, they found all kinds of stuff in there. A lot of people don't realize how
Look at
haunted
Catherine
the
the Great.
Kremlin is.
That's a whole thing in of itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
No, it's
but
true.
I'm just saying, energy wise, to see a flip like that, and that kind of driven carnage, that seems. I've seen people get possessed. I've seen people act a certain way that they never would normally. I don't know. I'm just feeling like if you hang out with those objects, mirrors, whatever, it could definitely have those attachments. And apparently, one spirit can attach itself to several objects.
Sure.
Yeah,
There's,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
I like.
there's really
Okay,
not much of a limitation.
then I'll read Corinne's because I think that is really
I
creepy.
said no to that show also, Bradley. They messaged me about a year ago and I said no.
Oh yeah, nope.
Nope. Nope.
It was a no from both of us.
Okay.
Nope. Yeah, Corinne said there was an airplane that went down in USA and they took the parts and put them in other planes, and each plane had issues with seeing the captain who perished in the crash.
Part 2.
They took all the parts out of those planes and the sightings stopped.
Yeah. Yep.
Like
Oh,
the
Alex remembers that. Pardon?
Yeah.
The Eldridge. I mean, they took that thing and chopped into pieces and sent it to Greece, and then the objects are still there. They will not tell anybody where any of those pieces of the Eldridge are. Nothing.
Wow. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. You can't. I don't think you can do things like that. I mean, people don't realize. Again, things have attachments. People get attachments. Places have attachments. I think you have to be really careful. But I know just in dealing with people who've had attachments that by changing their mindset has changed the outcome. So I don't know. Does it fall into believing it? If you don't believe it, I
Maybe
mean, I've
everything's
got haunted
pre-planned.
objects that can't cause me any strife at all, but they did for the people who had them.
Well, the dude with the serial killer, his mansion, he's a 12,000 square foot mansion. You know, Mark, the area mansion. You've been there.
Well, yeah,
He he loaded the place with these other antiques from around the world,
he did.
and all
They're
those
wild.
things will talk to you also. But
Oh,
I
they
mean,
sure
Oh
do.
my
They
god.
sure do.
he's
What
got
is
coffins in
wrong
there
with
now.
people?
But he got sucked into that place. You know, that building was just a bombed out tenement. It had a fire. Nobody lived there. He was
Yeah, but
driving
they
past
fixed
it.
it. The town fixed it, did most of the hard work for it.
Well, he got sucked into it, and then but I believe him when he says it's not a cozy spot in that whole mansion. There isn't.
It's
I've been
not.
there multiple times.
I
It's
think
not
it
cozy.
depends on what you find comfortable. I had the best sleep of my life in there. I renamed napping colliding because it was
You must have been in his mom's room. That's the only room.
no, I was in the room that had all the taxidermy, of course.
Yeah, that's the room with
It's
the alligators. All the
best
alligators.
sleep ever.
He has all these baby alligators lining the walls,
Oh, I
and
know. It was
that's his
unreal.
mom, his mother
Then
Eugenia, not Mark's mother, the serial killer. That was Eugenia's summer bedroom there. But yeah,
sweetest.
the place is messed up. But on the third floor, so Mark's daughter stays there. She was 19 with two of her little college friends.
Right,
They go and stayed on the servants' quarters on the third floor.
right.
That's where one dude hacked the head off of another guy. The what was it? The butler and the cook. They had a fight, and one guy hacked the head off of the other. They stayed up there, and these girls went screaming out of there at 2 o'clock in the morning and saying they'd never come back, never again. They'd never even talked about what happened. But yeah,
Yeah. I think it depends on the person. I mean, I didn't have any sort of terrifying experiences there. I mean, I had experiences like for me they were pretty pleasant, but I don't seem to do really bad in places that other people have really bad things happen. I seem to just like, it's like maybe an energy thing. I don't really,
did
I'm
he
kind of like do it again, do it again.
did he show you his tooth collection? The
No, I
from
saw
the
a
from
collection of a lot of things. I can't remember the teeth.
he got a collection from a dentist who had pulled all these people's teeth, and the guy made like a design out of them.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Does he wear it around his
he
neck?
was eccentric, but I
No,
liked him for that reason. Peg says, I've been given things. Oh, yes. And they were bad for others. Absolutely nothing happened with me. No, Peg,
Yeah,
things automatically always find their way to you. Um, Tamara,
that's
it's
your
your energy.
energy.
Yeah, I
I
love
like
me or you
what
hate
Bradley
me.
writes.
Anyone visiting your home could bring attachments and protection to your home is important. Absolutely correct. Aurora, I would smudge after everyone visited me pre-COVID. Yeah,
Now
yeah,
you have to
smudging.
Lysol and smudge.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, I don't know. Again, I think it's just a matter of you know, some locations. I usually insist on staying at haunted locations. I'm very comfortable sleeping there. I've been to many different parts of the world and slept quite comfortably. Pretty darn sure I had a nap. Okay, Melissa and Adriana can vouch in the haunted forest of Romania. Actually had a nap
Yeah.
out in the circles. Like
I
this is
insist on staying in 5-star hotels with butlers.
no, I want to be in the
Yeah,
midst of
no.
everything. Everything. I want to experience everything. The haunted forest nap. That's right.
I would do
You
it for
remember
1 or 2 nights, but I couldn't spend a week there. It would drive me crazy.
what in the haunted forest?
No, in a haunted location. It
location?
would
Yeah.
drive me. I could do 1 or 2 nights, but I couldn't do more than that.
what about
Yeah.
that
Unless it's
suicide
a
forest?
castle. Pardon?
That suicide forest in Japan.
Yeah, no. I wouldn't do
No.
that. I'm chicken.
Best place also Peg's best sleep. Oh, you sleep like amazing at Peg's place for sure.
Yeah.
Then
It's
she,
but
and
Peg's
then
got
she comes
nice
in and like
spirit.
bounces on the bed at like early in the morning. It's just so peppy. We're just like, wait.
I
Wait.
look like a golem when I wake up.
I know.
Hair everywhere, and I can't quite see if
Um,
you're human or not.
Okay.
Badly. The Christian board members that wouldn't allow me to investigate the train station, LOL. Well, I'm going in there. I walked in on them at a library listening to ghost stories about the station, and you're coming, Michelle, June date for student.
All righty.
Oh my God.
The
That's
forest
a
is
short
tranquil.
flight.
Thank you. Things were watching. Yes, they were. Things watched the whole time you were there. But that's what makes it more fun.
That's okay.
Tamara?
When buying used objects, always cleanse items
Before, I'm guessing.
before you take them in your home. Really having problems with autocorrect. All of us.
And this one I can vouch for. Peg and I have talked about this.
Oh, I have people. Sorry, Michelle. Go
No,
ahead.
go ahead. Yeah. You're going to read it or no?
I caught Alex there.
Okay.
I've had people tell me they have seen me in places I have never been, but they view me and think I've been there.
Yeah, we've talked about that. That actually happens to you a lot. A lot of people have done that. Or we all will share dreams and things like that, within the circle, and it's just like, okay, that's just weird too. But I think it's just because Peg just pulls us all in.
Yeah.
I don't think you realize you're one of those little super spirit people, that can just do stuff like that. See, and this is what Brad's like. See, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
So obviously,
Wow.
this is a thing. I don't know.
Let me get in the station ID before we get lost in another question. Yep, Peg, because you have a special place there. Aw. Tonight, you are listening, of course, to us, The Outer Realm, with Michelle DeRoche and myself, Amelia Pisano. And tonight, we hijacked and abducted. We hijacked Michael Angley, who is also a host here on United Public Radio Network. Michael hosts 2 shows. He hosts the Red Pill News, and he also hosts, the other one is called Discovery Paranormal. Yep, right before us on Thursdays. So if you've got the time, the Red Pill, if you've got the time and you're here waiting for us, tune into Michael's show. And he's on Wednesday nights when he's talking Discovery Paranormal.
Tuesdays,
sorry. Michael, I'm so sorry. Seriously. Okay. I think I have it and I don't. My head's not
to
here.
The station ID.
Ooh, let's do that where I don't hurt anybody. Okay, we are live right now on 105.3 FM radio. We are United Public Radio, and we are airing in the gorgeous city of New Orleans, streaming on YouTube's UFO Paranormal International Public Radio, UFO Gods and Extraterrestrials Radio, as well as our Facebook pages, Canada's Most Haunted, and of course The Outer Realm. We're right there, and you're in Facebook. Give us a little wave if you're in chat there. Let us know. A huge thanks to award-winning composer Dr. Snick the Sonic Surgeon, aka Justin Snicker, for our fabulous intro and outro. You can purchase his music on Amazon and Bandcamp. Find Justin on social media at Facebook and Instagram, and I think he's on Twitter as well. And of course, big thank you to Folgers Coffee. Thank you for supporting us from day one to right now. Honestly, we couldn't do this without you. Thank you for sponsoring the show. Folgers Coffee, everyone. Pour yourself a cup and enjoy.
There we go.
Okay, now we can breathe, and all the legalities are out of the way.
There we are. Okay, so everybody's chiming in. And Bradley would mean
New Orleans has a Niagara Falls
and a swamp. And a swamp. Yes.
Yeah, the FM comes out of New Orleans.
There we go, people.
We left the station before the lockdown. We haven't been at the station since then.
Terrible sound. Besides that,
very
we're in a
tinny
radio station, an actual
everything
studio,
was glass and metal. I'm like, what the?
I know.
Buddy, you need a carpet.
This house here, the walls are 3 feet thick, so it's got really a nice cushy sound.
Yeah, it's okay. I don't think he was serious about his station.
I know.
That 1970s soundboard.
I know. So we got quite a few good rants in tonight, and
wait, no, Sherry's got some really good stories. I am not bypassing Sherry. Hauntings can follow families. Oh, there you go. There's an amazing medium
Mhm.
If you're looking for a medium, Sherry Makaruk, and you can find her on Facebook. She is a phenomenal medium and she is extremely on point. I would highly recommend her. I'd love her to read me one day. Hauntings can follow families, or if a family member has an attachment and refuses to be cleared, it leaves problems for other family members. It is difficult if everyone involved is not on the same page.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
You know, if you're trying to close the door and then you have somebody else in the family with their foot in it, it's not going to work for you. It's
No.
just not going to work to your advantage at all. So,
No, it's really hard when someone, thank you, Sherry. It's really hard when someone isn't I want to say playing along, like participating and making everything better. It's really hard. But then you have to stop and think, is it because they don't believe? Is it because they're against it? Or is it because they themselves have an attachment? That they're interfering. That they're interfering with that, the clearing and the removal of anything negative. I need you to get well, Sherry. Then we'll talk.
Yeah, we had one guy that was all into the dark stuff, and then he got scared, and he would call us in and help me, and then he brings it in again. He was, I'm not gonna say the name of this creature. But he hooked up with some medium in Washington D.C. that wanted $7,777, and I was like, dude, no, no. Especially since I've been going to his house for free all this time. I felt shortchanged.
Just by 7,000.
If you're gonna give anybody, give me half the money, I'll kick you in the groin. We'll call it even.
Oh my God!
But
especially with gas right now.
Something started going after him, and it was clawing at him in his bed. He was seeing these little furry creatures with big teeth, and I mean, when he was on the phone with me, I was in my car driving, in the rolling hills of upstate New York, and we're having this conversation. Man, this voice chimed in, this chilling, you better not help him. Like, I was like, what the hell was that? And I'm like, did you hear that? And he said, I didn't hear anything. So the guy had a lot of issues, I will say, but he moved into a house that was there was slaves there. There was a morgue there. It was owned by a doctor, way back upstate New York. This was the first block of people that that founded that area, so, and that local graveyard has all those people buried there, including they have a slave graveyard, so it's, we went there also to check things out. But I'll tell you, the landlord tells people the house is haunted. He's like, you're going to see stuff. There's a woman who walks up and down the hallway. She doesn't even look at you or nothing like that. She just goes right past. I've never seen these things. I've had someone grab my elbow that was on the main floor. And I don't know what that was all about, but there was a whole bunch of stuff going on there. But let's just say then those ghost hunter guys did a show there. And they were trying to get Peter and I, the guy I do shows with, in there, Peter Canellis, of course. And then my agent's like, they're not going to pay you. Don't do it. He's like, so they want you guys, all your material, all your pictures, all your video, everything you got. And they're going to put you in a show and you get to meet this guy, Grant. And I'm like, yeah, well, we were laughing about it, But it may sound silly, but you guys know that part of the business. And that's not why I do things, So I really don't care about that end of it, right? It was more about the science and the research and helping people, but this guy, he wanted help. He invites it in. Then again, and this is the dude that the picture that I got, that I sent you guys, that woman, this is his aunt. That was in another apartment in Ithaca, a brand new apartment building. All this family turned out for the holidays. There was a cat running around there. He called Solo Meow. And that was their family cat.
I got Pavarotti singing in my head. Solo Meow now.
But all kinds of shadow figures. He had two little dogs. They would look into nothing and start barking and going crazy. But this is that guy. And he's like a medium, but he doesn't want the ability. But then he gets sucked into it, and then he gets freaked out.
Solo Meow. I'm not going to be able to sleep.
It was the cat all along.
And the ghost hunters, those guys, when they did the show, it didn't help him any. It didn't help him. His
a lot of the shows don't.
No.
Right.
They're there to film.
Right?
They're not there to help you.
You get to meet
Well,
Grant. I thought that was a rip, man. That was the funniest thing I've ever heard. I'm like, meet Grant. I'm like, the guy's a rotor-rooter guy. And I do need a plumber,
I think everybody gets to meet Grant.
if that's what you're saying.
Yeah, if your toilet's clogged, a lot of people get to meet
they
Grant.
get to meet Grant.
It
Oh
is.
my
Yeah.
gosh.
Bradley Monk's. I'm gonna give it to you, Michelle. I'm glad that he put this there.
Oh yeah. So here is another. They say in the spirit world, our language is universal. If so, do aliens, or how do aliens communicate? What language do they speak? Dolly, where are you? You know, all kinds of those. In my experience with aliens, what I've heard is like on recordings is a lot of like chirping, clacking. But then I've had some recordings where, if you guys have ever seen the movie Contact, that really robotic sort of thing with chirping and clacking in the back, I've actually captured that also. So telepathically, yes, that's usually what they'll do. But they do make sounds, and there are languages that people have actually heard. And Alex,
Even songs,
Alex said it's Mandarin, definitely Mandarin. It's not Mexican when you're picking up your burritos.
Mandarin.
Oh my gosh.
but they talk. It's telepathic, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's why we have the pineal gland, and most animals on the planet have a pineal gland. So when people are talking to their dog or their cat, solo meow, they can have a better bit of communication, right?
With the cat. Dolly says all beings are speaking the same type of psychic languages.
But then there's the cosmic equation. Can an advanced life form truly communicate with people? Can people communicate with cockroaches? It really comes down to the level of communication. I would like to think that they could.
My stomach just growled. Does that count?
Yeah.
More to the
calling.
point,
It's calling pizza.
Pizza. Why would they want to talk to us, though? Why would an advanced species? I mean, humans are horrible. You see what we do. Look what's going on now.
I don't always find the spirit world universal language. There's been times where I've been asked to come in to speak Italian or speak French to spirits that are stuck.
Right.
So if they're stuck, they're still in their native language that they've used here.
Well, let's talk about saving cultures, right? For the last 2 years, I've been doing this research on Native Americans. They all tell roughly the same story, that they had a song in their head. They followed this song, and they ended up in a place with the ant people. Some say ant people. Some, I mean, they all have actually, Navajo and Hopi. They all have a different term for them. But they took them so-called underground during this massive cataclysm. So that was the third world, and then they crossed back into the fourth world where we are now. So I tracked the movement from every culture when they had the song in their head. Some went south, some went north, some went east and west. Do you know they all converged on the same place, which is just outside of Moab, Utah? There's a large area there. You look on the satellite, it's an unexplained geological event. They don't know how or why this thing even exists, but I'll tell you, it looks like some mothership landed there and made its mark. You can look at it, and there's a huge salt pool underneath. They can't explain any of it. I mean, one time back in the day, even Denver was underwater. But this is going back thousands and thousands of years. So think about it. When they came back out, they all went to Chaco Canyon. They decided to have all Indian nations represented in Chaco Canyon, so they could all trade, and they were making laws for each other. They were growing. So whatever they learned from these ant people about how to survive and all that, they definitely got the basis of democracy. But it's interesting that they all had the song in their head, and they all have their own journey and tale. I love it. Love it.
Well, that's probably what Dolly's saying. Actually, with that, Michael, first she says that the grays will click. That I have heard several times. She goes, but here it pertains to maybe what you're going through or talking about, Michael. Tall White's language is musical. And she goes, minor key, E minor key, A minor key, E minor key, A major, E major. So you're saying like music, Anunnaki translates to ant people. Oh, that's interesting too.
Really?
What's the
I didn't
other
know
one
that.
now?
Anunnaki means ant
Hold on.
people.
Where was the other one?
Anunnaki means the others. They,
Oh.
they reference it as the others. Not the ones who aren't like us is what they said. They were clearly different than the Native Americans. They're also known as slave traders. So
Yikes.
yeah,
Yeah,
there's a lot
well,
going on.
yeah, that's the hypothesis
Look,
from
look at
back
the
ancient
aerial
Sumerian
views
times.
of Chaco Canyon. Tell me that place wasn't built to land. I mean, they're circular. They have little windows all around. It looks like you could just plunk whatever right there in the middle. There's no rhyme or reason for
Mm,
what they created other than
Wow.
to have some kind of relationship with the stars.
mm,
There's drawings everywhere throughout that region of aliens on canyon walls, and you have all these huge what are they called? These imprints in the ground, of them reaching out back to the stars, right?
mhm.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
interesting stuff, though. But that's the energy that I feel in that area. It's that's where the skinwalkers are. If
right.
you want to go about Shiprock and that whole area up northern New Mexico, that's not far from Chaco Canyon.
No,
There's so much going on. So
that's
it's
interesting. Have you ever heard of light language from star seeds? I think that's what aliens sound like.
light, sound. Think about the five tones. Think about the five bits of light. There's five basically of everything. I mean, Lao Tzu talked about that in Taoism, and I
Mhm.
think that we're not too far off if we want to communicate. But why would they talk to us?
Why wouldn't they? We're freaking amazing.
I mean, not us, the three of us, but
I
but,
know, I
but
know.
people.
Yeah.
I'm
Wayne's,
with Wayne on that.
yeah. He says, I've heard the name ant people referring to small people who lived underground, not actually meaning they look like actual ants.
Like me. I'm a small person.
Like,
This is how they
Amelia's actually
describe
a
it.
hobbit.
You're going back
Hmm?
tens of thousands of
She's
years.
actually a
This is
hobbit.
how they described it. That they look like ants. And if you look at grays, they look like ants. I mean, you can definitely say.
You're not
But
Somewhat,
wrong.
yeah, you're not wrong about that.
But,
That's true.
yeah, yeah.
The head
now,
shape, right? The
so
shape
now,
of the head.
well, since we're talking about aliens, what about these balls of light that are harassing our Navy ships? I mean, that's getting very interesting. It just happened again recently.
Do you think?
Where?
Do you think maybe
East
that
coast
could
of the
be
U.S.
military though?
Oh,
They
Reverse
said they launched
engineering.
drones. The guys on the ship thought it was a drone test. They were testing this anti-drone technology, and then they launched it. There was no heat signature on the lights, and they were kind of just bobbling around, moving around, swaying behind the ship. But I mean, this is the same general area where the Nimitz had their encounter,
Yeah,
and these
oh,
guys
yeah.
had seven objects, some
yeah,
cone shape, some cigar shape above the ship. You know,
right.
and these are aircraft carrier. You don't have things like that happen around aircraft carriers.
Wow.
Well, the
We're not
Nimitz is
firing a shot,
notorious for it. I mean, they've had two encounters
I
right?
think you're going to be hearing and seeing a
technically.
lot of stuff, especially with the war going on.
But
They're
what do you
going to be
think they're
sending
doing?
out everything they have to patrol the skies. And
I mean, but what do you think they're doing? Do you think they're just monitoring? I mean, you think that they would know everything they need to know?
Well, here Dolly said Dolly would know. I believe Dolly.
yeah,
ET remote viewing them. Yeah, I believe
yeah,
so. You know. So Bradley says in the area of underwater base.
yes.
They're everywhere.
It's
Underwater
the same
bases.
area where they tested the Eldridge from Philadelphia down to Virginia. That span, that rift of area.
Right.
Maybe they open something up. Maybe
Sure.
Hmm.
Sure.
there's something going on there. I mean, we don't know. We don't know
Mhm.
what they did, but we know what they did was really bad.
It was
And it
not
was
good.
Nikolai Tesla who worked on that
That's right.
with
The
Einstein, but
Philadelphia. For
Tesla
those who don't
died that
realize
Bring
that
year.
the
them back and
Eldridge,
spank them.
it's the Philadelphia experiment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So Tesla died that year.
that's
I mean,
right.
he was very old, and he
He
died
part
early
and he
on, and
partook
then
in
they
that.
went ahead anyway.
Yeah.
And they changed a lot of what he did.
I'm
Einstein did. So then you see the results.
I'm amazed, Michael, that he lived as long as he did.
Yeah.
I wonder if they just let him
He was
because they needed
Venusian.
they needed more from him.
He was Venusian. They took all of his files anyway.
When he died, it was actually Donald Trump's uncle, who was very
Yeah.
big. He was a scientist, and he was very big in the U.S. government. He took all the files, and he
I
said,
saw
"Oh,
that.
he's like, there's nothing in there you guys need to know about." He kept everything, And then on Nikola Tesla's deathbed, he said he invented a time machine, and he was very proud of this time machine, telling this to Trump's uncle. so you could take that for every
True.
which way. It's an interesting story.
It's
Yeah,
true.
it is. It
The
is. I
FBI
saw that in a
released
documentary.
FBI released papers recently. You guys can go on the FBI website under this section called the Vault, and there's a 65-page document that shows that Nikola Tesla, baby Nikola, was brought in
Good night,
by
Alex.
aliens from Venus to the Tesla family, and over his lifespan of creating all this stuff. Now, for those who don't know, the Venusians are known to be masters at I guess technology, and they would periodically come and visit. At least that's the story, if you can believe the FBI, which I don't. But anyway,
Especially not their website with
Oh,
everything
good
blacked
night,
out.
Alex.
Good
Yeah.
night. Yeah, he has to get up for work.
Yeah. So, that's just one more thing floating around, but there's no doubt about it. The man was brilliant.
Tesla
You know.
was very big on Long Island, and being a Long Islander into science, it was like just really cool for me to read about him when I was young. And I actually knew people that knew people he had worked with at Brookhaven Labs, and then my friend Bobby and Bobby used to work at 7-Eleven as a night manager, and we used to hang out all night. This is where I was
Ooh,
like,
unlimited Slurpees.
oh yeah, video games,
And
Slurpees,
taquitos.
Doritos.
Taquitos and hot dogs. And then you look like a blowfish a few hours later because you're all full of sodium.
This guy used to come in all the time named Gary, and he was a janitor at Brookhaven Labs. And then one time he came in, he's like, they fired me, F them. I'm going to tell all you guys what they got going on. They got all these experiments. And because this guy was the head janitor, he knew everything, every inch of those labs. He said they have a train that goes from the Brookhaven Labs to Montauk, and that's where they did the Montauk boy experiments. Yeah. They have 30 levels underground in Montauk where they have an active lab still of where they experimented on crossbreeding aliens into humans. See, because when I was out there, when I was, I think, 17, 18, we were out there in Montauk, my friend and I, in the middle of nowhere, and we saw this crazy light above the car. And I just thought it was like maybe some helicopter, but I didn't hear anything. Then we got pulled over by a bunch of cops and government cars not long after that, and they were like screaming at us, what were you doing at the base? What were you doing there? I'm like, what base? I was ignorant. I knew nothing about any of that stuff. They let us go. They gave me a bunch of tickets so I can prove it happened. So it was my friend's car, and he had not told me that he didn't register it or insure it yet because he had just bought it. So yeah, that was interesting. But anyway, it turns out that I meet this girl a year or two later at this club called Sundance, and then I'm telling her about the crazy story. And then she's like, you never heard about the Montauk Boys? I'm like, no. And then she gave me a book about the Montauk Boys. But that was that experimenting. But if Tesla had anything to do with that, because his Tesla array was in that area too. Where so he was experimenting on all kinds of stuff. But they said Brookhaven Labs kind of came about because of his research.
Tesla was here too, as well, Michael. Yeah.
There's a statue of him here in Niagara that overlooks the falls.
Yeah.
He was in Colorado. He's very big in Colorado.
He has a street named after him here in Hamilton. Yeah. Tesla Boulevard.
But he didn't know any of these things until he was visited. A lot of people said that he was visited way back, like late 1800s, when he was younger. And that's when he got the idea for radio, the radio waves and all these things, and also communicating with others out there in space.
Yeah, he really believed that he made contact for sure. I don't know. I think when you're that gifted and you're making these experiments with electricity and you're putting things out there, you're definitely going to get somebody's attention aside from just the military or the government, for sure. I think there's a lot of gifted individuals out there. I know, that there are people developing, like just getting back into the field of the paranormal and ufology. I think there's people working on equipment, just everyday people that are helping them achieve this. And some of this stuff's pretty impressive. I mean, you have to take everything with a grain of salt, and unfortunately, you can't take it all for for what it is. Just have an open mind, but be logical. But there are some really interesting pieces of equipment out there, and there's been some leaps and bounds done within the field. But at the end of the day, it's not science. But science wasn't always interested in the paranormal. I think they're taking more of an interest in that as well. Hold on, get into the comment. Oh, hello, Adrian. The house is a toddler. Baby Tesla is just a maniac.
Tesla
So
must have been, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
a handful around the
Okay.
house as a child. That is the best.
Yeah. Create electric equipment Niagara. Yep,
Yes,
absolutely.
he did. He did the
Absolutely.
turbines. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, just a brilliant man. Every now and then you just have somebody who's comes around and he's that exceptional person, and it makes you wonder, where exactly did you come from? But then you've got Mr. Elon Musk, who
Oh,
claims to be a reincarnation of Tesla.
somebody should have protected that Tesla name
I don't know about
long
that,
ago.
but I love Elon. He's my hero, especially these days. That whole Twitter
I
thing.
heard people have called him the Antichrist.
Mm.
Like,
Really?
wow, okay, yeah.
I think
People love him,
sometimes
people
people
hate
like
him.
to hate on people with tons of money.
Yeah, you got your lovers, you got your haters,
Yeah.
Well, what's the Antichrist? It's other than Christ, right? I mean, it's anything
And
other than
that's
Christ.
all of us.
Yeah, no, it's
But if
true.
you want to
It's
talk
true.
about fallen angels, these were those that didn't want to obey the laws of God, and they came down here to Earth, which
Mhm.
they started a city called Purgatory, which they had their
A
little Roman
city
court
called
type of thing.
Purgatory.
Yeah, they had their
I
little
like it.
Roman court type of thing. They were
Pretty
they were
sure I'm living it, Michael.
able to express themselves. But if
Yeah.
you want to look at the earth, that's where Satan went. Apparently, was down to the earth. But look at Lilith. Look how they vilified Lilith, and it's actually a great story of equality.
It
But
is.
yet they suppressed it, and they kind of look at her as the sea hag, and even the Bible doesn't mention her by name. Only the Torah.
Absolutely. Yeah,
But and
absolutely.
also in the Muslim culture, the Quran talks about it. But it's
Mhm.
just interesting. These are all man-made and
They
all
are.
that. But
They
but
are.
I like the stories.
No,
You know.
absolutely.
But it was
I
the
mean,
fallen
a lot of
angels.
the pagan gods, became
It was the
demonic.
fallen
They gave
angels who
demonic names. Yeah,
showed
absolutely.
people how to do things. They had the
Yep.
tools. They had the equipment.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Mm.
Exactly. Exactly. So were they really like extraterrestrials? I don't know. You know,
They
Mhm.
apparently mated with those, and they had the Narafim and whatever.
hybrids. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the giants and all that, and they find giant skulls all over the place.
No, it's
Yes.
true. It's
That's
true.
that's
They.
why Dan Aykroyd named his vodka Skull Vodka, because he's got a fascination with skulls. Crystal
Yeah.
skulls. Yeah.
I
Oh
think they
God, the
just
crystal ones.
actually found another cache of giants. Peg says Tesla wanted to be free. If you wanted to have people to have energy for free, and they didn't like that. No,
No.
nope, nope. Money's what drives everything. Unfortunately, and
Well, his vision was even cars and things that could fly, like
yeah.
buses that could fly, and
And
using
had
the
they left
electricity.
Tesla alone, we'd
Yeah,
all be there right
We'd all
now.
be the Jetsons right now.
We'd
you
be living at
yeah,
the Star
Yeah.
Trek
literally using the
Yeah.
idea.
electricity up in the air.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, he was a visionary beyond
Hmm.
visionaries.
We wouldn't
But
be leaving our carbon footprints everywhere. It would be
No,
a whole different
it'd be a
yeah,
whole different ball game for
world.
sure. For sure. Um, as we near the end of the show slowly, I'm going to do a plug for one of our guests coming on next week, which is Mr. Preston Dennett, who we all know and love. Preston has been on the show quite a few times, and I just adore him. So let me get
Hmm.
this going here. Preston is actually going to be on next Thursday evening, and he's going to be discussing his new book, which has just been released. And it's called Symmetry. Can you guys see this? A
Hmm.
true UFO
Beautiful cover.
account. This book is based on another dear friend and prior guest who's in the chat room.
Who's in the
tonight.
chat room with you guys? Actually, she's in the
Dolly,
YouTube chat room.
there we are, Dolly.
Yeah.
And you know what? I had to buy it. And it's got pictures in the end. We all like pictures. Where are they? There are lots of pictures. See? So I highly recommend it. I have perused it, and of course, symmetry. That's right. And of course, helps because I've got Dolly behind me going blah 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 blah. It's like, oh, all that happened for real. And she did come on the show. You can
Yeah.
find the archives and you can listen to part of her story because obviously she didn't get into everything because it's right here.
It's on her page.
I know. So he's going to come on and talk about this. You never know. He might even let Dolly have a few minutes. But anyway, I wanted to put that out there because you guys have a week. If you can get your hands on it on Amazon, grab it because it's a really good read. So just a wee little plug there for our friend Preston.
Yay.
I know, right? And next Wednesday, we're bringing back Peter Pengrove, guys. You guys really liked him for part 1 of his near-death experience. He's a gentleman who had the experience on the mountain, and it was so profound. And
yeah,
so it's basically going to continue on into part 2. So y'all be ready with that because
I made him Italian too. I
everybody's
called him Panagore, and he just laughed.
Everybody's Italian with Amelia. But you know what, guys? It was a lot of fun. We always have so much fun when we're doing these need a sweep before I sleep. We love you.
Thanks
too,
for hopping on, Michael.
Yeah.
It's fun, man. We're hanging out.
Yeah,
it was
fun.
This is what the round table is. It's just a
Yeah.
lot of talk about everything. But you missed all the ranting in the beginning. That would have been fun to chime in on.
Oh, NDE stories. Next time.
Yeah,
I got a few too many.
Yeah,
I have a hospital that doesn't want to perform surgery on me anymore.
That'll be next Wednesday night. But it was a lot of fun having you all chime in, and I'm always so appreciative when you all come in. Chat room between all 8 platforms was on fire as always, and a lot of people listening. And the archive will be up. Well, hopefully. I guess it depends on Joe. Joe's in California, so it's whenever he has a few minutes. And thanks, Adriana.
Thank you. Love you too, Peg. Thank you,
we
guys.
We tried, but it sounds kind of fun because we hijacked Michael.
Yeah. We kidnapped him. We abducted him. We're not returning him.
Under all your noses. We did it. So
I just wanted to. Oh, and I forgot. That's my age. Just saying. Yep.
Okay. All right. So
I'm going to start drinking.
Again, we want to have a big thank you to Folgers Coffee for sponsoring us for the last couple of years. We really appreciate it. We love you guys. You make everything possible. It's like magic. Big thank you to Justin Snicker for the intro, the outro. A little reminder, head on over to the Outer Realm on Facebook. Show us some love. Come on, man. We're fun. Amelia really does a great job of keeping it up. And if you do want to contact us, the only way to do it where you'll get a response, and I apologize for that, guys, but social media is just like a mess. It's just hard to keep up with it. So the Outer Realm contact at gmail.com. That's the Outer Realm contact at gmail.com. And you will get a response, I promise. And night, Dolly. There we go.
Good night, Dolly.
All right.
Good night. And stay safe, Wes. He's at work.
Oh,
Corrections officer.
Stay safe. So
and we
thank
can't do
you,
it without
Michael,
you
for allowing us to hijack you.
Watch out for those mirrors, aliens, what else? Voodoo.
Aliens coming out of mirrors.
Voodoo, and don't drive Tesla.
Don't channel Tesla.
No, don't channel and don't drive one.
Don't drive while you're
one,
channeling.
don't channel.
Oh, how about that? No driving while you're channeling.
Well, there's one floating above Mars. That's pretty cool.
There we go.
Yeah.
And on that note, I'm going to say good night. Behave yourselves, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
You have been listening to The Outer Realm with Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Pisano, airing live every Wednesday and Thursday evening, 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 to 10 p.m. Central on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM in New Orleans.